Writers only have so much that they can curate on paper or in ChatGPT, for example. But there's something that actors give, and that is living in the moment.
I've met some of the world's most famous people. I think about that aura, something that's really ineffable. Can that be manufactured? I could.
You know what direction AI is going to go into. But with human beings, we are so complex, we can flip the switch in any given moment. That's something AI cannot do yet. And human beings can present a state of feeling through the eyes alone. AI cannot manufacture a soul. Yet.
Today we're talking about how AI is hijacking Hollywood, Jefferson has cut right into it. The death of a rehearsal. The idea that an actor is both, the magic of acting is both in the process of in the becoming versus the actual result. They both have magic in them. And if we lose that, how much of the X factor, how much of what makes film so captivating do we lose in that process?
I mean, right now, with the state of AI, you have to prompt it, right? And those prompts need to come from human thought. And writers only have so much that they can curate on paper or in ChatGPT, for example. But there's something that actors give, and that is living in the moment. Living in the moment can really manufacture different states of performance. You never know what you're going to get. So with directors on set, they can always dictate in which direction you should go emotionally. But then there are always those scenes that happen or those takes that happen where they were not expecting a scene to go in a certain direction. And I think for actors, because like every other human being, we live life. And through living life, we are inherently taking in information on a daily basis. We are constantly taking information in our subconscious, whether we know it or not. And it's those unconscious pieces of information that can come out in a scene that AI cannot curate at the moment. AI still needed to be prompted and it still needed to be given a direction. I mean, God forbid it comes the day where that can happen. But right now in the current state.
But let me ask you this then, as a script writer, I'm thinking about someone like Joaquin Phoenix in The Joker. Could that ever be prompted? Could you prompt something like a performance like that,
I feel like you cannot. So Joaquin wins through a physical transformation. And I've been down the roads or a road of physical transformation. Besides the life that lives within you mentally and emotionally and in your soul, when you're going through a physical transformation, there are added layers of emotion that start surfacing, as well as mental layers that start surfacing as well, that start piercing through a performance. So Joaquin could have been prompted in his script, this is how you need to feel in this particular scene. But because of what he has gone through physically, it has started manufacturing different states of emotional performances for that scene that the director and the writers did not foresee and could not have curated, because there is something different with a human being. There are too many layers. There are more than one layer. That's the difference between humans and AI.
Because we're so nuanced as human beings.
Nuanced, layered, and you never know what you're going to get. With AI, you know what direction AI is going to go into. But with human beings, we are so complex and we can flip the switch in any given moment. Like, I could be happy with you right now, and the next thing I could probably, I don't know, snap and throw this mic around. It's like, why? I don't know why. It just happened. Maybe
Yeah.
something triggered in the moment. And that's something AI cannot do yet.
I can't remember the actor's name. When you said throw a mic around, I thought there was this one actor who was working with, my goodness, I wish I could remember his name. Super famous. Al Pacino.
Yeah.
So he was acting with Al Pacino as the British guy. And he's also very up and coming now, getting very famous. He said for one of the takes, he told the director, okay, he's going to do something. He doesn't want anyone to know what he's going to do because he wants to manufacture a real fear moment for what's the guy's name again?
Al Pacino.
Al Pacino. You wanted to manufacture a real human moment.
Yes.
And that was the moment where he bashed on the table and grabbed them by the collar, right? There was this moment of surprise. And that surprise, I just don't know how that can be manufactured with an AI prompt.
100%. And you know the saying, eyes are the window to the soul?
Yeah.
That's something AI cannot adopt yet. When a camera is up close to an actor's face, there are expressions that come out through the soul. There is an authenticity that we as actors strive for on a regular basis, and that's trying to bring authenticity to the camera. On a stage, we can physically act out the emotions because we are on a wider scale. And we need to reach to the audience that's sitting in the nosebleeds and that cannot see our expressions on our face.
They require the big move.
Yes.
So that looks normal to the person.
Exactly. And to convey the language on stage too. But when you are up close on camera, there's no need for that. And human beings can present a state of feeling through the eyes alone and nothing else on the face physically, where AI cannot do that yet. AI cannot manufacture a soul yet. And I hope
the word is always yet. I think this is such a good segue to the point that I want to talk about romance. Because I have a devil's advocate I'm going to play in this in this section, where I thought to myself, I'm like, I can't think that two prompts can manufacture a certain chemistry that a human being have. And they convey a certain passion, a certain intimacy that I can buy into and feel and connect with. And I was discussing this with my wife. And she said, look, I don't know, that's true. I mean, you watched anime, you watched Disney, you watch cartoons, and like you can get really sucked into that storyline. But when you were talking about the facial expression, I think that's the answer, yeah? Because you get sucked into the storyline, into the plot, into the structure of the story, but you don't get sucked into the character's facial expression that makes certain, you know what I mean? It's not the same, it doesn't have the same gravitas. Yeah, so I suppose, what is your opinion on that? Like, do you think that's something that can be manufactured on code?
So the physical intimacy itself definitely can be manufactured, because on set for actors, there needs to be an intimacy coordinator that coordinates the scene for the physical safety of both actors and the emotional safety of both actors. So AI can definitely manufacture that, but it's the build up to that physical exploration of the actors that cannot be manufactured, and that's the emotional language, the emotional interaction between the two actors and their journey leading up to. So if we're looking at just the physical intimacy of it all, or just the act for the scene, then I definitely can say AI can manufacture that, but it's the build up to that.
It's that
you know, because we still need to be coordinated. I mean, if you think about intimacy in real life, it's not like the movies.
It
never is. True, it's and like intimacy scenes like on the beach or in a shower, it's not as fun as what it looks like on screen. It's
when you have 10 people telling you do this, move there.
And just the interaction and getting to the deed gets kind of awkward. It's not so romanticized, not so sexy. So as physical actors, we definitely need coordination and intimacy. So we need to be prompted.
Mm.
And AI can definitely step in there.
Interesting. You use the word prompted then.
Mm.
Yeah. So then, all right, let's talk about you have an avatar. Eventually it's going to be the case. We're all going to have one. There's an app called Character AI where you can create avatars right now. That's what kids are using. But eventually, it'll probably become more professional and used by all these different companies. So Jefferson 2.0 is your avatar, and he is always perfect, man. He's peak shredded. If you want to make him a bit more bulky, it's a prompt, and he's now a bit stronger, more muscular, whatever it may be, whatever the role demands of it. How do you see that impacting just your mental health in one aspect, and how do you see that impacting the whole establishment of acting?
I mean, again, it depends on how far AI has infiltrated the industry. So, like as we were talking earlier about, it's not been able to curate the emotional circumstances within scenes and the journeys. But let's say,
the hypothetical where we're inevitably going.
Yeah. Business-wise, it makes sense to the productions. It cuts back on costs. It cuts back time. It saves money. It saves time, and things can be produced a lot more efficiently and faster. And for me as an actor, if that starts happening to me, it will affect my mental state because my livelihood's affected, but it won't affect me in terms of it's been able to get shredded, it's been able to bulk up. Because for an actor, or myself as an actor, we get to a point in our lives where we are able to deal with ourselves on an emotional and physical level. There's a lot of acceptance.
Especially based on your appearance.
Yeah, especially based on our appearance. I mean, at times it is harsh.
Yeah.
Especially when you're just starting out. And it also depends on how you let it infiltrate your state of being. I mean, if you're really one of those people that, are completely attached to your physical appearance, it's
gonna be ruthless.
It's a ruthless gig. It's a tough gig, and AI Jefferson 2.0 will definitely have an effect on me emotionally and mentally.
I think it would be, that's already awful enough to think that in modeling, no model looks like the photo that gets published in the magazine because they edit it to an insane point.
100%.
And I think about, man, now imagine if all camera, I mean, I know they already have CGI, maybe make a guy more muscular, whatever it is, but if we get to the point where you have only perfected specimens running across your screen, I can only think about the psychological trauma that's going to inflict on kids growing up, how females feel about them, how women feel about themselves, how men feel about themselves. If we didn't feel more inadequate as is already, now imagine all you see is perfection, and none of the actors look like the actors that are on TV. It's kind of an insane place we're going into.
I mean, like there's only so much perfection we can accept. I mean, it does get to a point where it becomes monotonous. It becomes boring.
Yeah.
If you look at the state of social media, no one wants to see perfectly curated stuff anymore. They don't want to see a perfect influencer on the socials. People are going more towards real, more towards wholesome,
like authentic
stuff. Authentic. People want authenticity because it gets to a point where perfection becomes unattainable.
Yeah.
It is unattainable. I mean, we will always get to a point where humans will want to see the perfect thing, but then it's going to go back to authenticity.
Yeah.
And that's what we've seen on social media as well. And what we currently see in the health and wellness industry, there's been all this fuss about being healthy and living your best life, and everyone's cold plunging, sauna, yoga,
it's like this insane routine of this list of things you need to do every day.
Matcha. Everything's just like health, but people are starting to burn out because they aren't they are unable to maintain this perfectly healthy lifestyle.
Yeah.
That now we are transitioning to being able to live a balanced lifestyle and being able to live a life where you give more to yourself authentically than trying to live up to whatever hype is happening on social media.
It's frustrating that we as humans always spin to extremes. I don't know what it is about us that we always got to go to one side and then too much to the other side. Why can't we just kind of find the middle ground? But then we talk about well, we talk about your character, Jefferson 2.0. I've met some of the world's most famous people, and not all of them, but there's one or two of them where I can be like, wow, this individual has, you can call it charisma, the X factor, the je ne sais quoi, because I'm French, I'm not, but they have something about them as a person. They're just so magnetic, and it's obviously what makes them so colossal in the world. And for the person I'm speaking about right now is actually Arnold Schwarzenegger. When I met him, there's something about him that just draws you in and you want to be a part of whatever it is that he's doing, he's going on. And when you speak to him, you feel like, man, I don't know why I just feel so special right now. I think about that aura. I think the kids now call it aura.
Yeah.
What do you think that is something that's really ineffable? Can that be manufactured? Like, have you ever met someone like that? What I'm talking about, that has that presence.
Yeah. I've been in the presence of someone with aura, and it's been my father. He's a doctor of Chinese medicine and acupuncture, kung fu master. So he's been teaching kung fu, and he teaches meditation and tai chi, and he's just this overall holistic being that, I mean, he's my dad, so I don't see it, but I've seen how his character influences everyone around him. And that comes through hard work, and through hard work breeds confidence and this deep self-belief as well. And I think a deep confidence and self-belief is an attributing factor to charisma, aura, and that only, I feel like that only comes through
the process,
and through the work. It's I don't think it's an it factor. Everyone talks about an it factor, but I think that the it factor they talk about is just an individual that has really laid his life on the line for what he believes in. And I feel like someone like Arnold, who was so confident in his physique as a bodybuilder, he crushed the competition, and through crushing competition, it attributes to that increased self-belief and that ego, that it just makes him believe whatever he tackles, he can achieve, even through failure.
And it's just tough for me to think that could you manufacture that with an AI prompt? I just don't know.
No, I don't think so, because as human beings, we are made up of cells.
Yeah.
And words is frequency, sends out vibrations, and our cells receive and absorb frequency, vibrations, and we're all connected by some sort of frequency. That's why, for example, like, you could have an idea for a movie, but you don't execute it, and a few months down the line, you see your movie being made, because we are all connected to one frequency. And I feel like AI cannot curate that. And the word is yet.
Yeah.
AI won't be able to curate that, because we as human beings, we operate on energy, we operate on frequency, and our cells resonate and vibrate and gather energy through interaction, or deplete energy through interaction. So I feel like on an energetical level, it cannot be curated by AI.
I think it is. I think that's interesting. I think if I'm not mistaken, I think what you're talking about is sympathetic resonance. And how we all connected. But could you get that from ones and zeros, right? Like that's the real question. And I think you're right. I don't think that you can. I don't think you can get them. But who knows what's going to see. But
I mean, it's what they're striving for.
I just don't see that yet. Well, if at all, to be fair.
Yeah.
Then okay, we kind of got to get to the clincher here. Here's the real question. Jefferson 2.0. You have sold your likeness to a company. They're using it. Now, I'm going to say, just to explain, obviously this likeness is referring to the AI avatar Jefferson, and they're using you in a movie. And, if 30 years goes down the line and now this company has sold your likeness to another company, and then that's that company, eventually Jefferson 2.0 finds himself on Pornhub. And a deepfake version of yourself is doing something you were never going to do, and it goes completely against your value system. What would that world look like for you? How could you even come back from that? What would you do?
Wow, you really put me in a corner here. Man, I think because we're heading down the road of the inevitable, I think it comes down to having this foresight and having these conversations that you contractually, if you do sell your likeness, contractually
think about this stuff.
Think deeply about it and see where and how far you are willing your likeness to go. But if that's not the case, I mean, we're currently in a time where celebrities' likeness are being used on platforms like Pornhub. It's because
without their consent, that's we're really there.
It's because we don't have laws in place yet. Man, I honestly, like, in this moment right now, I'd be taken aback by seeing myself on Pornhub, and I'm sure my phone would be on blast.
Yeah.
But I'd also be like, why are you on Pornhub? Other way,
Mom?
Yeah. 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 It's a hard question to answer right now. Man.
And look, it's a tough one. That is a tough one. But I think if we have to sum up this theme here, the key is, how about this? If you were to sum this up and be like, what is your main approach to acting with this world changing in AI? And what would you tell people coming up? What are you doing right now?
I think for all actors or everyone involved in the film industry, it's firstly to learn about AI and to learn how you can use it as a facilitator or as a partner, but not use it as the means to get everything done. It's not at that state yet where we can solely depend on it. But if people are wanting to cut corners and completely surrender themselves to AI, I tell them that they'll be missing out on the human experience, the human authenticity that cannot be curated by AI, and the surprise of human behavior that still cannot be created by AI. It's when you look at a human being that you're interacting with, it's a feeling you still cannot prompt an AI to resonate. I mean, we call it the human experience because we don't have another word for it yet. The human experience still cannot be prompted or curated by AI, and that feeling that you get from another human, you won't get from a bot at all. It's like just the two of us sitting here right now.
We have a really good conversation about this. I'll plug it in the comments. When we spoke to Mark, he's a clinical psychologist, and we speak about this emulated empathy you get, which makes you think you're experiencing it, but it's not real. It's not deep. It's missing. But Jefferson, I want to thank you. This was a great conversation. I appreciate you being on the pod today.
Thanks a lot, man.